Hello, everyone. This is Kendall.
Becky.
And Cassie.
This week we are talking about a differentiation, so we thought we'd do something a little different for our blog post and make a podcast just to change things up a little bit. Okay, so we were kind of talking about the three different parts of differentiating and how we differentiate content, process, and product. So
I just think that at any stage or what you're choosing, maybe what they're creating and what you want to see from them, choice is always very important.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about motivating students, so if something is age and level appropriate, why not let them choose?
Mm-hmm.
It may be overwhelming to get a bunch of different responses, but even if you give them a few options to choose, somebody can be more proud of what they're creating. And it also kind of blurs the differences between maybe my peers doing harder work than I am.
Right.
Because we're all learning different things from different people, and I don't know, I feel like it builds community while we're learning different things from each other.
I like that. I like that it's everyone doesn't have to be doing something completely different. It will be at their level, but they're essentially learning the same thing. And I think that makes everyone feel more comfortable in the classroom environment, so they don't feel oh, I'm doing this other thing because I'm not smart enough to learn about space or whatever they're talking about.
I remember specifically, this is where the end product was the same. I was in elementary school and we made a diorama, and the project was supposed to be about animals, but some students' content area was what do you know about birds? And some kids had to look up maybe a specific bird, and then it was, well, am I reading one book? Am I getting this information, or am I pulling from multiple books? And how am I creating it? At the end, we all had this one really cool project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's all. It all helps with the motivation. I think that's such a big part of learning. Without the motivation, you're not going to get a lot done, I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we were talking about differentiation, the first thing that came to mind was a story my mom told me when we were younger. She went to Catholic school all her life, and she said that they had reading groups. Except for their reading groups, it was very obvious who was the smart kids and who were maybe struggling a bit, because they were named things such as, this is the angel group, and this is the shepherd group, and then there was the baby Jesus group, and they all knew that the baby Jesus group was the kids who are not very good readers. So I think it's important to just keep in mind, if you're making reading groups, maybe name them a little more subtly so that doesn't happen.
I like that, because in class we talked about how students know when certain kids have certain needs, or what level they may be around, or how they're performing. But it's about setting a tone and erasing that stigma.
Yeah.
So if we don't label them, so we don't create these concrete labels for kids, we can be it doesn't matter that they're doing something slightly different for you, because we're all learning in this moment.
I think it definitely takes away from motivation if a kid is oh, I'm in the baby Jesus group, well, I don't have to try that hard because I'm not as smart as them, and I'm never going to be as smart as them. So if you take away those labels, then it increases motivation, I guess.
And I think it's important to be honest with them, because kids aren't stupid. They know what's going on.
For sure.
If you're just upfront with them, some students, we just learn differently, and people need different things to be successful. I don't think it needs to be a big secret that you're slyly passing them different worksheets and stuff. I think they're smart enough to realize that.
I feel that's really important, especially since we're all studying special education. Inclusion is a big deal, and maybe including kids who we see as lower functioning. It's so important, but I don't know, we can celebrate our differences and learn together.
Yeah.
Well, I think we had a really good conversation, and this is us signing off.